Hello, so I've been getting a lot of questions about how you edit the base UI in Hytale. Unfortunately, this isn't really possible. There is two workarounds. They're not great though, but in general, it's not possible. The reason for this is because all the base UI is stored inside the client and the logic is done in C#, and we can't modify that yet. Hopefully that will change when they switch to a no-assist UI, but right now it's not possible. And even if you try to send custom commands which operate on the base UI, it just doesn't work. Like, this is a health bar, and you can see there's a progress bar with an ID progress bar. So if I try and remove it by sending this command here, then if I type /show HUD, it just kicks me because you can't access the base selectors from custom UI. There's two workarounds like I mentioned earlier. The first one is just hiding the base UI and remaking your own. So what I mean by that is if, for example, you wanted to hide the health bar, what you could do is something like this, which hides the HUD component health, and that will hide the health bar, and then you would just render your own on top of it. And you'd have to set up all your own logic so that represented your health, so when you're half health it was half full and stuff. You can do something similar with pages. So you can't hide a page, but what you can do is listen for an event, and then cancel the event that would open the page, and then open your own one instead. For example, you could listen for a player interacting, check if they're looking at the memory statue, and if they are, then cancel the interaction event and open your own memory UI instead. This isn't great because you've got to re-implement all the logic yourself, and it's not even like we have reference code that we can use because it's all compiled machine code, so anything that's complicated isn't really feasible. Like, maybe you could make your own health bar, but like your own inventory system would take a long time. Another problem with that solution is that the UI is now server-side, which is a bit more laggy for players, especially if they've got high ping. The other option is directly editing the client assets. For example, if I go over here into the creative health icon, and then let's say I just make it black, you need to restart your client for the changes to apply. And now you can see I've got a black heart here. You can also modify the client UI files using this technique. It's not great because, like before, you can't modify the actual logic, so if you're doing anything that isn't just rearranging the layout or anything, then you won't be able to use this technique. Another problem with this technique is that you can't edit client assets as a mod, so this is really unsupported, and you'd literally have to copy the assets folder and send it to players. And people aren't going to install your own client assets instead of their ones. That's just not going to happen. If you want my advice, I would just try and focus on adding new UI into the game rather than editing existing stuff, because it's really not possible. I've got a lot of tutorials on my channel about adding server-side UI, so if you want to focus on that, you can just watch the tutorials on my channel. Thanks for watching, remember to subscribe.